tired. But the
Okay.
truth is that the group that you're speaking of has an ulterior motive. It is not one of understanding. It is one basically to try to win arguments regardless against the science and to try to argue inside of the argue of any argument. It
Okay.
is it is not it's a dishonest intellectual argument. There's a degree of dishonesty in the whole thing, and moving the goalposts for attempted wins at other inside of the arguments and things like that. And I've dealt with these guys for some time now, so they're not there for the honest argument for science itself. They're simply trying to push a narrative, and they're trying to create what I believe on YouTube is a debate group where they go around and try to debate people on different subjects and things like that. Unfortunately, many of the times they have taken on people like Rita, who holds degrees in anthropology and archaeology, and yet they still question her degrees or her information. I
They
don't
call it.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just telling you what they're about. I'm sorry that I've made it personal, but many of the times it feels personal,
I
especially
don't
when.
I don't feel you made it personal. I feel that you were stating some facts and they didn't want to answer it and they returned your facts with questions. And just by saying that, when I was in the syndicate's live earlier, I asked a question with their question and they didn't like that one bit. I'm not answering you. You're a piece of poop, you know? So
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I,
and that's not a good way to dialogue, especially in a scientific
yeah.
community. Like if you're gonna have a scientific dialogue, there's a way. And I've never seen it. Like I see it on these apps. That's not how we dialogue. Like, and when we have, they're not even debates like this. Usually we go to conferences and there's people with actual, like a bunch of experience in a certain subject. And so when you go to a conference, it's not just one person talking and like taking over the whole narrative. No, it's like all these different specialty groups, and sometimes they're a team. So they'll bring up like, such and such doctor with his like, people that work with him out in the field, and some of them have things they want to present, so they all go up there. And then there's a thing called like the question and answer time right after they give their whole, and you have to give them a chance to present their what we call like they're presenting not and it's not an argument. Most of the time they're claims, and sometimes they're verified with a lot of evidence. And so they're up there like on stage in these conference rooms with what are those called? Like we have like a screen, and then they show everything, like their maps and all of the artifacts they found and graphs and everything, and they're going over everything, right? And right after they're done with, they give everyone in the group, like that sitting in the audience, a chance to like get on the mic and ask questions, and those questions are answered completely. Like you ask the whole question, and then the speaker or lecturer will give you an answer, and if you still didn't get the answer you were talking that you wanted, you can ask another question after that, and be clear. But they never like argue about it like back and forth. And I'm talking about throughout the world. We're not talking about just YT people. We're talking about nowadays people in the scientific realm are of every background, every nationality, every size, every creed, every belief system. Like we're all together in this, and that's how it is now. It's not just YT people up there with the narrative anymore. We're basically like taking our narrative back, going into these conferences, talking about all these issues. And so that's what I don't see on here. So it's really hard to actually get a good conversation going and finish any topic. None of the questions that were asked were finished to the extent of where the person understood where you were coming from. They don't have to agree with you, but they didn't even and it's fine if you don't agree, that's perfectly fine. But no one was ever allowed to finish making their claim and justifying it with what whatever supporting evidence they had. No one had the chance to do it on both sides because everyone was interrupting each other, and so that's not, it's not ever going to be a good conversation. You're never going to get anywhere. Then you're going to leave like what happened, and everyone's mad at each other, still confused about what the other person was trying to say because they never finished listening to what the other person was trying to say. So, and that's how it works.
And it was like repetitive. They kept going over the same thing over and over, but still not an ending to it.
Yeah.
Something
annoying.
that
You just
something
don't understand.
else.
That's the plan. The plan is to basically continue to find some degree of argument and use some degree of semantics to try to still win the argument for what they're trying to push. You know, and so you kept hearing Port Vibe City talk about your Asian, and you kept hearing basically Lifestyle tried to use the data reference, the data reference as a way of downplaying being accurate. So, and I apologize again because at the time I wasn't being very swift. And so I had to question myself. What, this data reference that he's speaking of, basically, what is the accuracy of this data reference, this DNA data reference that he's speaking of? And the accuracy is 99%. So once again, he was trying to downplay the DNA, he was trying to downplay DNA data to try to find some degree of fault or percentages, but it's 99% accurate. And that's what I ended up finding out. And I wish I had found that out when he was bringing it up. Unfortunately, I did not have.
Do you want to get food?
But again, I thank all of you for allowing me up.
Go get food.
I'm tired, and I just want to just sit down in the bottom.
No, it was.
Well, thank you for coming up.
Yeah, thank you, artist. You're always welcome here, and we appreciate your input, your knowledge, anything you share with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That JB said is that it feels personal. Well, it is personal. They make it personal. Like today, earlier, just because I was correcting them and accusing them of spreading misinformation, like one of them threatened to dox my mother, right? So like that's criminal behavior, by the way, right? And like there's natives in the live, various natives who are almost always in those spaces and never in native spaces that are co-signing and laughing and like encouraging that sort of behavior, which is like, my mom's not native, she's white, but still, like, that's my mom, and I'm native, I'm indigenous.
No, I agree with that, Mateo.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I don't think that's right what they're doing over there with those natives. I mean, you should have a certain cutoff point, to where you would at least protect your people or do something, but they're over there like chiming in, laughing. I really think that's problematic. But they're never, if you think about it, they're never in native lives. These same people, I never see them in any other lives.
Well, they were in our live today, and you know what? We treated them with respect. You know what we got back? We got shit.
Exactly. That's why, long as we keep doing how we do, and how we are, I'm good. They could be whatever they want, but I'm just saying, I think we should stick to how we were raised, to be respectful, still stand up for yourself, but don't
They treated
drop
me
to that
like
disrespectful part.
they treated me like I had no say in how Rob presented his cigar store Indian presentation. I said I didn't. All I said is that he's missing one fact: the fact that that the carvers didn't see Indians before, so they used slaves as models at first.
Let's try. Okay, so what I want to happen here is that way we can stop the. Like, I don't want you guys to even get like any aftermath about this. Like, so let's stop talking about the syndicate and like them. But I do want to hear native vibes. You brought up something really important. Like when somebody makes a claim, or like in your case, you're talking about something you saw. I don't know if it was a video or YouTube or something that you saw that had to do with the cigar, or they call the cigar Indians.